Okay, here we go. So it's kind of our middle of the month Zoom, and it's always a good time the middle of the month to kind of like take a look where you are and check your business numbers and see how close you are to hitting senior coach or executive director or whatever it is that you're trying to strive for. So that's always good. How does everybody feel about their month so far?
Meh.
Michelle, you were jazzed. You're
I actually I feel pretty good. I kind of feel like I'm on a roll lately and just a lot of positive vibes, and not everyone's saying yes, but everyone like loves hearing about the program.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. How about you?
I think you're sharing a lot more, Michelle. I think you're, it's on your mind to share. I think you've gotten the attitude of, gee, who can we help? You know?
Exactly. I'm just different mindset, and so I'm very pumped this month.
Awesome. Terrific. Good. How's everybody else? Anybody else have anything great they want to share about their month so far?
Yeah, me. I have my fifth customer this month. She started this week.
Congratulations.
I have five customers now.
Oh, so you're going to be a senior coach this month?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah,
so you have five separate ordering entities, and it adds
yes.
$1,200.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. So that's the first. That's really like the first step, and you'll get paid at a 5% higher rate this month for being your coach. So, yay!
That's great news. Yes, awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And that was like two of them came to the cooking party, and then the other two are her son and daughter. And then another friend from work. So that's exciting. Yeah, Sylvia.
That's awesome. So they're really great.
Is a big deal. Yeah.
And then Nora, will she be plugged into the core training at senior coach?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Sylvia does listen to all the trainings already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're ready for more.
Yeah. Yes. I'm working on it.
Are you thinking about getting certified? Well, sometimes once you hit senior coach is a good time to get certified, because then you would get paid at a 3% higher level still.
I believe so, yeah. As soon as my the school year is over, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, you're coming up on that middle of June, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I'll ask you, Nora, how do I go about doing that?
Yeah, for sure.
And the nice thing, Sylvia, is once you hit that milestone of senior coach, if you keep making a goal of finding 5 new clients a month, many of those clients are going to obviously stay on plan for more than 1 month. Sometimes you'll have people drop out, but as long as you could have more than 5 new clients a month, but if you at least have that goal in your mind, you'll start to see growth. And along the way, if you decide you want to bring anybody on your team, just to further your reach, that's when the business really starts to flourish. So, even when you guys who are new and are, maybe only have 5 to 10 clients, always think about who else you might want to bring into our community. It has to be somebody that you like, because you're going to be working with them, and somebody that you think might love being part of this business, whether they love to help people or whether they need an income and they are health-minded, or any of the other qualities that we look for in business partners.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well as being coachable and teachable and compassionate about others.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. So I just spent 2 days going to this workshop called Running to the Roar. And it was given by Kim Fisk, who is a, yeah. How do we? I'm muting you guys. And if you want to chime in, just unmute you. Unmute yourself just because there's background noise. Okay. So it was called Running to the Roar, and it was given by Kim Fisk, who is an integrated presidential director, and then with some great coaches underneath her. So Jamil Frazier and Jan Paxman and Amber Smithson, Jared Smithson, and several people that are all under their team. And I was kind of the I was kind of the Lone Ranger from our team, but it was such a great experience. So the first day was all about personal growth. And I thought I'd share just a little bit about what kind of I learned in that process. And if anybody wants to chime in or ask questions, they can just unmute themselves and ask. But and then the second day was all about how to take those lessons from your personal growth and help you grow your business. So it was a lot of great information, and I have tons and tons of notes, and I haven't had enough time to even kind of process all that I heard and went through when I was there. But we talked about our thoughts and the chatter that goes on in our minds, and whether that chatter serves you or hinders you. So we all have chatter. Am I good enough? Am I a good health coach? Do I deserve this? Can I do this? I don't have the education. I haven't lost all my weight. All of those things. And you can probably think of those things. But when your mind starts going, and we all have it, do we let that kind of stop us and paralyze us? Or do we kind of take a step back and say, okay, that's a thought. And I don't know if it's true or not, because that's just our mind. And sometimes our mind wants to take over. And, we talked a lot about a couple things, and I recorded some things that I'm going to get up to YouTube and then post on our page. But one was like how you compare yourself to other coaches. So when you see people like Dan Valentine, who gets, within a year became an integrated presidential director, but he was a pastor who lost 80 pounds, and had an online community that was listening to every word. So if Dan Valentine was going to call you, that was a gift, and you wanted to pick up that phone and call you, and you would probably say yes to most anything he did. So we can't really compare ourselves too much to all of these different people. Everybody's in their own journey, and everybody's doing their own thing. And I think some of the factors of success that I'm going to share with you guys that we talked about, and why people maybe grow faster than others as health coaches. One would be your story. So what is your story, and are you delivering that story authentically? So generally when we talk about your story as a health coach and how you share that with people, is you share it with where you were before Take Shape for Life, what Take Shape for Life brought to your life, and where are you now? Are you delivering it with enthusiasm, right? How are you sharing that story? So first is like getting your story down consistently in like 1 to 2 minutes and being able to share that with people. And then, is it coming from your heart? Are you just saying, yeah, I became a health coach, I lost 50 pounds, and I'm here to help other people? Or are you really like enthusiastically getting out there and sharing the truth, the real truth? Because a lot of people are suffering out there, and they're suffering just like you. So if you're suffering with your finances, there probably are 5 other people out there or more suffering with their finances. If you're suffering with a healthy mind, there are people out there. So one thing that they talked about is like, don't limit it to simply the weight loss story, but offer it to everybody. I know several of us in this group and on this Zoom don't have big weight loss stories. Myself, Michelle, Janet, Shelley, we don't, and Jane, we don't have the weight loss stories. But what Take Shape for Life has given to me is I know it's changed my life completely, inside and out in the last 2 years. Today marks my 2-year anniversary of becoming a coach. So it really is, something that I can take a step back, especially today, and think where I am today compared to where I was 2 years ago. And it is huge. And I think even in myself, I found when I was listening to all of this is that I'm not offering everything that we have to offer. I'm offering the health component, but I think I'm missing out when I'm extending that offer and the offer of the healthy mind as well. And even, I mean, to tell you honestly, the finances that it has brought to our lives is huge as well. So, you know, and it's different for everybody. So I know if you're just beginning, it's hard if you're just making, you know, $100 or $200 to like get out there and share the finances. But as your life and as your career grows with Take Shape for Life, that's there. So, so the first one was your story and how you're sharing it, and are you really coming from your heart? Because I think when we're 100% honest with ourselves, that comes out as well. And the second is the people. How many people do you know, and how many people do you honestly connect with? So one of the big things in this too was your business is not going to grow unless you pick up the phone. If you don't pick up the phone and share this, it's not just going to grow with Facebook. And it might grow with Facebook. And to tell you honestly, my business has grown through Facebook and referrals predominantly. But what I realized is I need to pick up the phone a lot more. And, you know, just not necessarily getting up and bragging about the program, but sharing, saying hi and what's new and special in your life, and trying to connect, because they may not be your frontline client, but they know a lot of people that know it. So that was huge. And then your skills. So developing your skills. Are you tuning in to your core people? Are you tuning into your core trainings? Are you coaching well? Are you, you know, are you listening to, are you participating in the Zooms? Are you participating on our Journey to Optimal Health page? Are you going to events? Are you just becoming a better person? Are you becoming a better health coach? And then the fourth person is your personal development. So look at what you're thinking about yourself and about your journey, thinking about your thoughts. So things like, I'm just looking at my notes, says people are either leaders or doorways. I can't even recall what that even means, but like, are you going to lead, are you going to lead by example, by, living out loud and trying to, be the best? Or are you just kind of going to sit back and watch? You got to take an active role in all of this. So, yeah, go ahead. I feel weird that everybody's muted. Like, I feel like I'm talking to myself.
Well, I unmuted because I just was, I was talking to somebody today at a bridal shower, and notoriously this person I always thought was very negative, and I don't see her very often anymore. And I feel like with Take Shape, I have gone through so much personal development, and I feel like my mind has gotten so much healthier. And it was just interesting to have a conversation with her. And, she started talking about her concerns about what's going to happen when Obamacare goes away and insurance and blah, blah, blah. And it was her and this other woman who are both normally kind of, I call them negative Nellies. And what I said was, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I don't really have any control over it. So I just choose not to worry about it. And I said, I could worry about it, but that's not really going to do anything. So I just choose not to. And I used to be such a worrier and have so much anxiety and not be able to let things go. And when I said that, and I was like, almost like, wow, I felt the change in myself, that I really am that way now. And that's one of the big things that has changed for me because of Take Shape for Life. It's that healthy mind piece. I just thought that was kind of like a good example of what does healthy mind mean.
Yeah.
And just being able to think differently and not be like freaking out about everything, and like a calmer demeanor and living in the present moment and all of those things.
Yeah.
It takes time.
It takes time and it takes development. So, one thing, I know that there are only so many hours in the day, but working on your personal development is like reading books. One of the great books that they recommended that I've read is 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. Mm-hmm. That's a great book.
The Four Agreements.
The Four Agreements is a good
a
book.
very simple read, but powerful.
Yeah. I just finished reading The Power of Decision. That's a really good book. And right now I'm reading The Obstacle is the Way. When I say read, I mean listening. I'm an Audible person. So I listen while I'm driving, while I'm working out, all of those kind of things. Folding laundry,
What was that? The Power of Agreement?
No, The Obstacle is the Way. The Power of Decision.
Okay.
Yeah, The Power of Decision.
What's the one with 15 what? I got
The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership.
okay.
That's a great book. Those are books that Dr. Anderson actually recommended. And Rita and Dom were doing them in part of like a book club thing on that Facebook page too. So that's where I heard about them. But they talked about that a lot over the weekend as well. But
Nora,
mhm.
do you mind listing those titles of the books and the messenger
Sure.
for later on?
Sure.
Thank you.
I can. Yeah, sure. I can write them down. Yeah.
Thank
And I found it. Oops. Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I found something that I'm going to give to my niece for her preschool graduation, and it's by Dr. Wayne Dwyer, and it's called Unstoppable Me, 10 Ways to Soar Through Life. And so I was reading it, and I was looking at the principles, and I'm like, this is something we could all do.
Yeah. Yeah. The more you work on it, the more you read, the more you just become aware. That's what it's all about. Because then you start, when I read these things or listen to them, I'm thinking about them not only for myself and how I respond to them, but my clients and what they're going through in their lives and how I might be able to help them through it too. So,
And I think sometimes when you're just having conversations with people socially and you're sort of talking from this level, like it kind of attracts people to you as a health coach, because they're like, wow, I kind of would like to work with this person, because this person is really, hearing what I'm saying and taking an interest in asking questions and understanding me. And now I'm hearing that they're a health coach. They seem like they'd be a good health coach. So, when you're having conversations with people at social events or wherever, ask about them, make it about them, reflect back what they answer. People love being heard. And when you come across that way because you're interested and you care, and then they find out you're a health coach or they know you're a health coach, they could say, well, I could see why you're a good health coach. So practice that when you're not even talking to clients.
mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Albert, you have a question?
Well, yeah, I wanted to recommend Suddenly Skinny, the book you gave, Nora.
Oh, that was
It's really good
Yeah.
for chuckles and inspiration.
Yeah.
That's a good one for clients too, right? Karen, did you get it? I gave Karen, or I didn't give it to Karen. I told Karen and Albert about it.
I read that like 6 years ago.
Yeah. It's about a woman who, I don't even know, was it Take Shape for Life or just Medifast?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just did
Oh,
Medifast, but she
okay.
wrote a book about her journey and about losing weight and the mental aspect of it, and just
She lost like 200 pounds, right?
she lost a lot of weight.
Something
yeah.
big, yeah.
And she does it in a kind of a funny, comical way.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started the book. I think that I heard about it from Janet originally. You Are a Badass.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I just started listening to that a couple days ago.
Do you like it?
I do. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very funny.
Audible just had a 2-for-1 sale, so I got that one too in my second one.
I find myself, like you were saying, referring to those books that I've read quite a bit when I talk to my clients. It is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's a lot of the same things, that you're hearing the same themes across the different books, but put in a different way, and it's helpful.
And I just found out that my library has audiobooks that through the library, it's free. You can go through an app that they have and have the books on audio tape for free. So if you prefer to listen to tapes, find out if your library has that, and then you don't have to pay for the books. It's just downloaded onto your device.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So a couple of questions that when they came across when we were talking, Albert, did you have another thing? Were you going to say something else?
I forgot. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. Just chime in. You don't have to raise your hand.
Okay.
Just chime in. When we're talking about your thoughts and are we your thoughts, and the chatter that goes on in our mind, there's 3 questions that you can ask yourself. And one is this true?
Mm-hmm.
Is this chatter true? Is your thought true? The second is that thought or is that chatter serving you? Is it helping you reach your goals? Whether it's weight loss or whether it's your business, whether it's your family goals, whatever it is. And then the third question is, am I willing to see things differently? Can you take a step back and see how things might change if you just saw it differently? Because number 1, it may not be true. Number 2, it definitely could not be serving you. I think we, have all of these things in our head. And I know I'm going to share an example for me in a little bit of what I kind of came to in it. But, and then another thing is to do only what you want to do. Like, be selfish. It's okay to be selfish. Act in your own best interest and look at what else could be true. So if that thought that you had isn't true, what is true? So I don't have these answers for you guys.
Yeah, but I think it would be good if people shared examples of things in their life that they could think of.
Yeah, I'll share my example. So one thing, so I'm a doer. It's clear as day. I'm a doer. I don't know if you guys all picked up on that yet, but I have a drive. I like to do things. I like to reach a goal and go beyond it. And I am a hard worker and I am not afraid to work. And so a lot of the top leaders in the organization have said over and over again that life gets messy. And this is a season and you work hard and life gets messy and it's not necessarily pretty. And I agree with that. But what I found now that I'm 2 years into this is I'm sitting there listening to that. And I realized that I need to start, organizing my life and my business a little bit more around what matters most to me, because that's why we're health coaches, is to have the freedom to do what we want to do around what's important. So our families and our friends and things like that. But in my mind, I'm this pusher that kept saying, but life is messy and that's okay. And my life is messy. So if my life is out of control and I'm not spending the quality time that I want to with people, that's okay, because I'm doing it and I'm reaching my goals and I'm helping a lot of people. So, but what I realized is that I started using that as an excuse for not creating the schedule and for not creating the boundaries and for not creating. So life can be messy, that's for sure, but it doesn't have to be as messy as maybe I was making it be, because I was giving myself that permission to have this crazy life, that it was just busy. And I love what I do and I have the passion around what I do, but I realized that, I'm also, my thoughts is that I'm a doer and I have to work really hard and I have to keep going and all that. And that was my mind, that if I took my foot off the gas, everything might fall apart. And what I've learned over the last 2 days is that I can still keep my foot on the gas, but I've got to organize it a little bit differently. So now, from being with a lot of people and talking to a lot of people, I'm going to start utilizing Google Calendar more and another software system that's all free to schedule appointments and things like that, so that I can start to prioritize my time a little bit better, because I'm just like anybody else and can sit in front of Facebook and waste, an hour and a half of time or something like that. So I just needed to get really clear for myself. But, we all have that chatter. And so whether that chatter is, you don't deserve to be at your optimal health or your optimal weight, or, I'm not a great health coach because I haven't met my goal yet. or I can't do it because I don't have the education for it, or whatever it is. So does anybody have an example of what that chatter running through their mind might be?
I have this, I had this chatter that says, you know, because I was very shy when I grew up, and I had this chatter that was telling me that, you know, well, I would say I hate speaking in front of groups, and I'm not good at it. You know, I can't find my words. I'm just not good at speaking in front of groups. And then I decided to look at what I was saying and realize that I can speak in front of groups, and I can be okay, you know? And so I decided not to make it all about that anymore, like just to change my words and change my thoughts. And I really made a conscious effort to, you know, visualize myself speaking in front of a group and doing a great job and speaking smoothly and being able to find my words when I needed them. And I did all this before I spoke in front of a group. And I have to say, like, I felt so comfortable in front of that group that night. And I think it's because I decided and made a conscious decision to start changing my chatter.
Mm-hmm. Another chatter, a big line that went through this weekend was, oh, I don't want to call that person. I'm just going to be bugging them. I don't want them to think I'm selling them something. So you don't pick up the phone. Then can anybody relate to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you don't know what they're doing and what they're feeling and if they're going to be bothered or not. But by you not picking up the phone and calling them, they're missing out, because what we're really here sharing is hope and health.
And I think if you call with an agenda, maybe you would come off that way. But if you call somebody just to see how they are and say hello and come from an authentic place of caring, even in a client who you haven't talked to in a long time because they lost contact with them, you know, what you kind of think is, oh, they know I'm here. They'll call me if they want me. Like, they probably don't want to be on program anymore or whatever. And sometimes you gather up that courage and you call them and just say, hey, Ronit, I was just thinking about you. We haven't talked in a long time. Just wondering how you're doing. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for calling me. It's really weird. I was just thinking of you today, or, you know, something like that. And that's happened to me a lot. Like, it takes a lot of nerve for me to call somebody who drifted away from program. You know, we all have those people that you sort of lose contact with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And think about them and give them a call and tell them why you were thinking of them. You know, like, I just was thinking about you because blah, blah, blah. Just wondering how you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not calling and say, hey, you want to buy more fuelings? You haven't ordered in a while. What's the deal? No, you're saying, how are you?
Right. Right. And another thing was that, some people that worry like they're not where they want to be or whatever is, if you're talking to someone and they're perked up to talk to you and you share what you've been doing, if you haven't, talked to them in a while, one thing that you can say is, come do it with me. Let's do this together. I'm going to be working on my health for the rest of my life, and I'm looking for people that want to work on it with me. So, that was kind of a really low-key way, I thought, of like talking to somebody about it. Like, you don't have to sell them anything. But I think finding ways that you feel comfortable and realizing when you feel, what is it, Karen? What did you just type?
I was just trying to answer Michelle.
Oh. It's hard to read it. When you find that you're telling yourself something, stop yourself and just be, yeah. Okay.
I was trying to figure out how to do the raise the hand on here. I just wanted to add to what you guys
go ahead.
But I didn't want to like interrupt anyone rudely.
No, go.
But like, I struggle with the negative self-talk too a lot of times with the program, just because it's hard for me to get people on board and around my age group. And those are the people that follow me on Facebook. Just because a lot of times they're all into, like, every time I share the program, so what about drinking? And it's hard for me because I feel like I'm almost like an outsider, even with my own family. They all think I'm like this nutty health freak who, as you guys know, like, I do fitness, I'm a dietitian, and I'm a coach for this program. But sometimes the negative self-talk gets in the way, like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, and oh, I don't have as many clients as I would like to have. but I just try to remind myself that, okay, I'm starting with 4 clients. They love me. I'm a great coach to them. So hopefully that'll just keep leading me to more success.
Shelley, can you relate to that? I'm seeing you nod your head. You're muted. Let's get you off mute.
You know how to do it?
Go ahead. Now you're unmuted. Go
Thank
for
you,
it.
because I don't know how to use the technology and unmute myself.
Me neither.
No one knows I feel exactly the same way, but yeah, it you know, I can get the negative to the same things that you were saying, Michelle, but then I got to flip the coin, and like Nora knows, like I'm working with a couple people right now, and I love it, and I'm having so much fun. And so you just have to believe that, okay, it may not be as fast as whatever, Mr. Valentine, but you know, it'll all kind of come around.
Yeah, but Shelley, I think you said something so important, and so did you, Michelle, because you both said, I love it and I'm having so much fun. And that's the key.
Yeah.
If you're having fun with it and you're loving it, then your passion is going to be palpable, and people are going to, you know, want to refer to you, and you're going to attract other people. So that's it. Like, keep it simple and really keep it fun. It should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And both.
And I can relate to that 100% because I am finally seeing the ripple effect of all the seeds that I'm planting. And like, I'll be amazed sometimes, like it'll catch me out of the blue where I'm like, oh, wow, somebody that I've been hoping would reach out is now ready. And you just never know when they're going to be ready. And those surprises will happen. And you'll get so excited because they'll keep doing what you're doing, keep planting and watering those seeds, and you'll just be surprised. And that's the best feeling because it's coming. Never give up that hope. It's coming.
Yeah. And Shelley and Michelle are very similar because, Michelle, you couldn't use a lot of products, right?
Oh yeah, I can't use, unfortunately, I can't go even like on the fat burn process and all that stuff. So
yeah. And Shelley can't use the products either because of food sensitivity. So you guys are very similar. So I understand that there might be a lot of doubt. Like I'm working with a program that I can't even eat, but I think
and that's exactly what it is. Cause it's frustrating because it's like, I want to try it and I want to be able to, but every time I've tried like a few, then I would get a reaction and I'd be like, okay. So it's hard to, because when a client asks you, oh, so have you done it? Or a potential client, I tell people, well, I'm always on program because I eat 3 hours a day and I like follow the habits of health and all that stuff.
Yeah. I tell people, I tell them, not that many people ask me, but I'll just say, you know, I have a lot of crazy food sensitivities, but I mimic the same stuff through the food that I mimic the proportion of carb to protein and the eating the same every whatever couple of hours. And so I do exactly the same things. It's just with a different food component.
Yeah, and you might mention, I wish I could do it with those fuelings because it would certainly make it much more simple.
Yeah.
For sure. Shelley and I have talked about that a lot. Shelley's like, I wish I could eat this food. Yeah. So.
You know, speaking about like planting seeds and how you never know, and am I frozen? No. And how it's just about like not really caring about the outcome, but just sharing and coming from a place of your heart, even with your inactive clients. And I had a client just come back to me from 2013, and I have her sheet and I pull it out of my inactive file, and on it I see that she never really participated in the coaching and in all the other pieces. She just basically ate the food. But from our first conversation, I had written a note that she could be a coach candidate. For whatever reason, I felt that this is someone who might want to be a coach, but it never got to that. So when she called me back this time, she goes, I really want to get more involved this time. Like, I really want to do the whole program, not just eat the food. And I brought it up about the coaching piece, how I thought back then that might be whatever. And she goes, you know, I really am interested in that. This would be a great time for that. And so this time she's going on program and she's doing all the habits of health calls and she's on the Facebook pages and she's taking part in the coaching, and she's doing it because she wants to coach now. So she wants to be immersed as a client so that she'll be able to coach. So who would have known, had I not had written that down in 2013 or whatever, not like left the relationship open and not gotten insulted that she drifted off and really never connected. I could have taken that personally. And I think, can anybody relate here to taking it personally if a client is not keeping up with the coaching and not getting back in touch with you?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you sometimes take that personally.
Yeah.
So be careful about taking it personally, because you can take it personally, but that's probably not going to serve you well. So if you flip that around and just, continue to care about them and maybe reach out and say hello every several months or whatever, you never know what's going to happen down the road. But they're not going to be afraid to reach out to you again because you didn't leave them feeling bad about themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not about you. Yeah, for sure. It's about their journey. Go ahead, Karen.
I just wanted to kind of go back to what Michelle and Shelley were talking about, that I don't know if everybody knows, but I connected with Nora. We knew each other, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, Nora. And when I saw her starting to post transformation photos on Facebook, it never entered my mind that she would have done the program, because I always knew her as a personal trainer and someone who was a health-minded person, a healthy person. And I knew her well enough to know that she wouldn't be representing something that was, a fad diet or whatever. And so my advice to you would be, not to get too hung up on that, but as long as you're living the habits of health and sharing that with people, the right people will be attracted to you.
Yeah. And I think Shelley and Michelle, you're finding that out, right?
Oh, big time. And that's something, it's huge. Like once your mind gets like really focused on just helping people, and for a while I was just not able to, but then as I got back into it, it just came so easily, where it's just, I'm just sharing exactly what I do on a daily basis, whether it's going to the gym or I don't even know, just like going out to dinner or making like a cute, like healthy snack or whatever. Those are the things that are grabbing people's attention. And then I shared that before and after. And then I got like, oh my God, like 6 responses in my inbox. Like, what do you do? Can I learn more about it? So I just set up these phone calls whenever I had, like in the mornings when I had free time. And it's just nice because some clients came from it, but others, maybe it's just planting the seed, as you guys were saying before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, as you're starting out as a coach and you're feeling, or anybody, and you're feeling this chatter in your head, stop and see if that's really true. But I have a saying that I really love, and I think I had this when I started fresh out of college, and I was an exercise physiologist at the Pritikin Longevity Center, and I was standing up on stage teaching exercise classes, and that takes a lot of guts. But we said this all the time: fake it till you make it. Fake it. Put your smile on your face. You are a health coach. Like, you are out there helping people, and it's going to come. Like, you live this. And, what we say is lead from the future, act in the now. Who do you want to be in your life? What kind of health coach do you want to be? And start living it now,
And also, you don't have to be the most perfect 100% healthy person 100% of the time. What you're doing is you're acting as an accountability partner. So we always say it's a relationship business, and a good health coach is somebody who is there to support their client and has a relationship with them and is able to guide them to the resources and be an accountability partner. You don't have to know, and we say this every time we do a training, you don't have to know every answer. You shouldn't be teaching nutrition. You should be just representing our program. And if they have more detailed questions, bring them. Like, there was one on our support page. Somebody was asking about cramps or something. And I could have, just from my own background, I probably could have started asking them questions and getting into it. But we're not supposed to be doing that. So we're supposed to guide them to the resources. I said, call the doctor nurse call this week. Did you guys see that post?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. But yeah. We had that, Shelley and I had that exact situation happen with one of our clients. He wanted the science of fat burn and how water flushes it out of our system. And I said to Shelley, well, we could come up with something to say, but there is a doctor's call. There's a client call every Wednesday. And so we did. And I was running this afternoon and I was listening to our podcasts, and there was a great doctor's call. And I don't always chime into those calls. And it was a reminder to me to continue to refer to those calls. And I'm going to post one of them on the Habits of Health, because it was about bowel movements and, is it regular and how that changes with the program. And then there was something, sleep was a big topic in that one call. And in that 30 minutes, we talked so much about all the great things that we get asked all the time as coaches, and that are big issues to clients, and how great to be able to refer them to that instead of dishing out the answers. And Shelley did a great job and said, I'm not the expert. I'm not the science expert, but let's tune you into the doctors. And I don't know, did he get on the call, Shelley?
I don't think so. That was the one where I tried to go on myself and I got kicked off and I couldn't figure out the technology. I know you're shocked, all of you, but.
No, but it's a great resource. And sometimes there are glitches in the technology where it does kick us off, and it doesn't. The one I was listening to, it kicked the leader off and she had to get back on. So I don't know. I wasn't on the call, so I don't know what happened. Sometimes it just happens.
But, he would have told me if he was on there, so.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a good quote that I starred. Set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the person who can. So
say that again.
Set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the person that can. So sometimes, and this happens a lot with our clients when we do their pre-client call, they give us a number of how much they want to lose. And the number is like, oh, I just want to lose 20 pounds. But they really have 50 pounds to lose. Mm-hmm. Right? Albert's laughing.
Because my goal is to do 1,000 push-ups a day. And I've had doubts about that.
But, so I think sometimes that we limit ourselves, and we stop ourselves short. So really put it out there. What is it that you really want to come? And goals evolve over time. So, so don't worry. Just try for that.
Well, that's another thing too, as a coach, sometimes, and Cheryl and I, we ran into this a lot. So the person, for example, will say, I want to lose 20 pounds. And that to get to their healthy BMI, it's 50 or 60. And so our job is really not to say, well, you need to lose 50 or 60 pounds, but we want to support them on what they want. Awesome. 20 pounds would be great. I bet you'd feel a lot better with 20 pounds off, and it probably can happen by, June. So let's do it, and then inevitably when they see how simple it is and how good they feel, they want to continue. But, we have to always support what they want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Albert, you were a great person. I remember our first phone call. You were like, maybe if I lose 20 pounds and I don't want to do more than 30 days, I don't know. And you couldn't foresee what it would be, beyond that. And look at, he's 90 pounds less.
Oh, did you lose 90?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Albert took it 30 days at a time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so if
Joan, you got to catch up. You're only at 80, huh?
Joan, you're so close. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Joan.
There you go.
I'm on mute.
There you go. I got you.
No, I'm 81 pounds.
I'm joking with you.
You know what, Joan? Every pound counts.
Joan, it's amazing. I'm joking when I said you're only at 80, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully in the next 2 months, I'll be at 100. So that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can join Karen in the 100-pound club.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Great.
Okay. We're getting close to an hour, but I just wanted to talk about our mindset a little bit and how you value what we have. So if you don't value what we have to offer, it's really hard to share that with others. So I want you to think about some things going forward and how you value our offer. And are you worthy of everything that we offer? Are you worthy of the healthy body? Are you worthy of the healthy mind? And are you worthy of the healthy finances that come along with being a successful health coach? What is your passion levels? And are you sharing what's special to you? Are you sharing those blessings that you have and what you've learned from it and the habits that you're changing and the mindset that goes around that? You need clients, but you don't need any one client. So if you pick up the phone and that client doesn't say yes, you keep that person in your file and you go back to them. But don't get stuck on that one person. You got to go, who's next, who's next, who's next? And you keep trying and you keep offering and you keep sharing health and hope with people. And by doing that, you're going to reach more and more people. So often, and myself included, we get ourselves stuck and we really want to help this one person. And if this one person would come along and they would be not only a great client, but also a great health coach, we're forgetting about the other 100 people that are out there in this world waiting for someone to pick up the phone and ask them. So that's all in our mindset. And that's our chatter that goes on too. So whether you want to call it chatter or your thoughts or whatever is going on, do not be attached to the outcome, right? You're there to talk to them. You're there to share. Not every person is going to say yes. You might they need to check with their spouse. They don't have the money right now. They're going on vacation and they want to wait to order or, whatever it is. But keep them in your list, follow up with them. That's really, really important. Don't forget about them, because someone shared a great example with a neighbor and they felt like they pushed too hard on, they just vomited on them all about the program and turned the person off. And it was their neighbor and they saw the neighbor every, day. And then they kind of were embarrassed to say hello. And then they said hello. And then they finally said, oh, what the hell? I'm just going to call her. And she picked up the phone and called her and said, I know we talked about this last year, but I was just thinking about you and who was special in my life. And, I'm wondering if you'd be interested in exploring what health coaching would look like. And the woman said, you know what, I've been meaning to call you. And, boom, she was on board. And there was nothing wrong. The woman wasn't offended with the vomit of the story. And she was
all this time she was telling herself that she was annoying and the woman was annoyed by her, and the woman never was.
And the woman never was. So, we can think one thing about how the person might react it, but we don't know. It's not,
Yeah, and another thing about following up, I just want to share. So I have this special pink folder, and because whenever I do a new client call, I do it on a client profile, and if they don't come on board, I just put them here, in the, I guess it's a pre-client or not interested file. And every now and then I go through and I have detailed notes because I've had the pre-client call. So for example, today I just emailed this one person and I said, we spoke in April, and at the time you really wanted to lose 60 pounds because you wanted to do this, that, and the other, and you were really hoping to da-da-da-da. And I kind of recapped our conversation and said, just wondering how you're doing now. Have you been able to make any changes? Oh, and by the way, I'm going to give you Stop, Challenge, Choose. You might really like reading that book. It's attached to this email. Reach out if there's anything I could do to support you. So, she's going to get this email and go, wow, she really remembered about our conversation. I kind of forgot about it. And you know what? Here it is. It's 2 months later, and I haven't moved an inch towards anything. Maybe I should re-explore this. So I think it makes sense that when you are having a pre-client call to, in my opinion, to take a detailed notes on a client profile, because you can always, then refer back to it. And I think it's, and Joan is a perfect example, because Joan and I spoke a solid year before she came on board as a client, right, Joan? And I was able, to reach back and have those notes, so I remembered what we talked about. Because after a while, you forget, who you spoke to. You can't remember every conversation. So to me, having the notes really makes it more personal for following up.
Yeah, I think we touched base like in April, and I said, well, I really would like to start when I moved. So just at that point, I was.
Yeah, but we talked the January before that.
I know.
Originally.
Yeah, exactly.
And here she is, 80-something pounds down and coaching her first client.
And sorry I didn't start sooner.
Yeah, that's so often the case. Yeah, the regret most people have is that they didn't start sooner. But, that's okay. That's totally okay. One thing as coaches we need to remember, and this was a story, and Janet probably knows this because it's been said a couple of times, I've heard it. But so when a waitress is going around a coffee shop and they're offering people coffee refills, and people are like, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. Is that waitress offended that that person isn't asking for more coffee? No. But does that stop them from going and actually offering it? Because if they didn't offer it to one person, the one person that really wanted coffee might get upset that they didn't get a second round. So, think about that of like, don't take it personally. It's not an offensive thing to ask and to follow up and, be your authentic self. I mean, that was one thing. I mean, takeaways is like really listen to what you're saying to yourself, what that chatter is. You don't even know it. Take a step outside, listen to it, and, don't be afraid. We're glad you're here too, Michelle. The whole writing at the
Very
bottom.
inspirational. I love it.
Yeah. So we just have like a minute or two before we just wrap it up. So does anybody have any questions or comments? No? Well, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday. It's the 21st. We have 10 days till the end of the month. So go out there and see how many people you can share with over the next 10 days. And I know that's my goal, because one of my things is I haven't picked up the phone enough in this. So my goal is I'm going to really try to pick up the phone and actually call people. Texting doesn't do it. Picking up the phone and starting conversations and just saying hi.
And just a reminder for June for the client celebration Zoom, we're going to do it on a Thursday this month because there's a number of people who haven't been able to come on Wednesday nights. So it's going to be Thursday, June 8th. So as usual, we're looking for you to look for some clients that would be good to share and let me know, and I'll keep track. And anybody that you've talked to who has not been ready to start program, you might want to call them like June 6th or 7th and say, hey, we're doing this Zoom call. You might want to hear what people on program are saying. It's a great way for pre-clients who are thinking about it to hear stories from people who are actually on program sitting in their own home. People love this call. It's great for clients that are new. It's great for clients that are struggling. It's really great for anybody. So, take advantage of the fact that we do this, and hopefully, many of you can attend, and I might ask some of you to share your stories if we're short on people, but let's hear from some clients that are integrated and using the coaches and listening to the calls, and they could be, in the beginning of their journey, they could have lost their weight a while ago and been in maintenance. We like to kind of mix it up and hear from different types of people.
Yeah, great. And one thing I just wanted to plant the seed with all of you. So Memorial Day is next weekend. And you might be out at social gatherings. You might be at barbecues. You might be with friends that you haven't seen in a long time, maybe by a pool. So if it's a potluck, you bring a healthy dish, right? And it's a fabulous place to share, especially if you haven't seen people in a while, and just live yourself out loud. Share what you're doing. Share that you're loving health coaching. Don't be shy. Get that chatter out of your head, because their friends and family are excited to see you excited. Just remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Jane, you have a question?
I think I just I have a little chatter in my head right now because I just came from a bridal shower. And the whole bridal party really I just feel like I wish I could have an impact on the whole bridal party. And today I just was like blown away by how I would love to help the whole bridal party. I wasn't expecting that. And I held it all in. And I didn't know even how to engage these people because I didn't want to, in my head, I'm like, I don't want to offend anybody. And I was just waiting because nobody said, well, tell me what you do. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell them what I do because nobody asked me what I do. And I'm afraid if they do ask me what I do, then I'm going to offend them. So how can we get over that in our next Memorial Day party?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Janet, do you have any tips on that one?
I probably wouldn't have brought it up if it didn't come up in any way. I mean, I might have a conversation and say, "Oh, did you pick your dresses yet? Like, what color dresses are you getting?" And I mean, unless someone said, "Oh, I don't like the dress because I really need to lose weight to fit into it" or something, I wouldn't bring it up on my own.
It's a joyous occasion is the thing, so you don't want to burst people's bubble. I mean, for sure. But I think I would. Did you know the bridal party, Jane?
Hold on. No, I did not.
You don't know.
I know.
So what
I know one of the bridal party people, but I just think it's like a lot. I was at a loss, and I didn't know how to engage.
I have one idea. I don't know.
Today.
This might be a crazy idea, but I'm going to just blurt it out without even really thinking it through. But what if you, at a different time, reached out to the bride and said, you know, I'm not sure if you know that I'm a health coach, but what I've been doing is getting bridal parties together to do a 30-day Optavia challenge. And, you know, I'm not sure if your bridal party would be interested, but it's kind of a fun thing for a bridal party to do together.
Oh yeah, I just gave her. So you want some more water, Corda?
That could work. Shelley, you have something?
I do. I think that's a great idea for sort of after the fact, Janet. I think in the moment, I naturally, like, this is easy for me to say because it's natural, but like if there's people, especially if I don't know them as well, one of the things I'm always saying, oh, what do you do? Like just be naturally getting to know them and what do you do? And most of the time they're going to ask you back, what do you do? And it's a easy way then to, at least it will open up a conversation because then people are usually interested in talking about health stuff. So.
Yeah, that's a great.
So I introduced myself to a lot of the people, and I asked, well, how they knew the bride, and then they asked, well, how I know the bride, but that was kind of. It didn't go much further than, they didn't ask me too much about me, like with regards to what I do. I asked them, a lot of them were teachers.
Yeah. So, you know what? You're going to have another opportunity to see all these people at the wedding.
Yeah.
And so.
It has to come up naturally. I mean, I don't think you can force it.
I think so too.
And I think you did what you needed to do, Jane, and that is to talk to people and ask them what they do and be friendly. And, you know, sometimes it's going to come up and sometimes it's not. But just because it didn't, I think you did what you needed to do, and that's build relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what
three of the people there, like the bride knows what I do. And I've kind of started to have a conversation I have had a conversation with her about health and well-being. So the seeds are planted with her and then three other people that were at the party.
Can you say
so I think for me, it was just exposure and just letting people know and just establishing connections and getting to know them more than anything.
Can you Facebook friend them?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have them watch. And, you know,
but
just because somebody.
Not the whole bridal party, but some of the new ones, it would be good to do that with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think too is like, I mean, clearly when we see somebody who has weight to lose, like we know we can help them, right? We know we have this great plan, but there's so much more to that person. So, you know, I would encourage everybody to like get to know that person and make that intimate connection with them, because you're coming to them with something of just like one piece of the pie, lack of a better
You don't
word.
even know if they're interested in losing
You
weight.
have no idea what their goals
They might not even be interested. So
yeah.
you
Maybe they have health concerns and they're on something that, or maybe really they have a financial issue, or that you can help them with differently or something like that. So I think just building a relationship. And somebody just asked me this, won't go too long, but Jamil asked me to help somebody that was at this networking thing. And it was this woman who said, oh, we were at this place, we were at this gas station and we saw this person that was so overweight and I so wanted to say something to them. And what would I say to them? And Jamil's like, Nora, come here. What would you say? I'm like,
nothing.
What? I said, you can say hi.
Yeah.
Like you can say hi, and
Who are you?
like the truth is, like, you may never see that person again. So you could get out of your total comfort zone and go up to that person at the gas station, and it could come off totally wrong and you could totally offend them, but like you will not see them again. So they may be interested, or they may be like, screw you, that was the rudest person I just ever met, So I think everything we do, if we just approach it like, hi, how are you? And build a relationship or some kind of connection, which like at a gas station, I don't know if that's the place to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've actually heard JC Dornick, or it was Ken Gotchman, I think, at the one thing, he made a connection at Starbucks, which is easier because here somebody was like, oh, I have this drink. And he said, well, I used to drink those drinks, but I've lost 70 pounds, so I don't drink those drinks anymore. That was his in. But, if you don't have that, it's not an in. So don't make it weird. Don't force yourself into something you don't feel authentic about.
He wasn't telling that person about the program. He was just making a comment about himself, which was appropriate.
Yeah.
And if the person wanted to ask any more, he could, but if otherwise he's not saying anything. So you don't say too much.
Yeah, no. And the guy was like, you lost 70 pounds? How did you do that? And Ken said, oh, well, if you'd like to know more, give me your number and we can connect. I know I kind of got to run. I got a meeting, but why don't we connect, or are you on Facebook and we can connect? And that was that, I had an interesting situation. Did I tell you about the Nordstrom's thing last month, where I was out shopping and this woman came, was trying on clothes, and she's like, how does this look on me? Because I just lost 25 pounds. And I was like, oh gosh. So I was like, all these people that have weight loss stories, when you go shopping, you can share that with like, how does this look? I'm not, clothes are kind of new to me and it's kind of exciting and I've never worn this size before. And there's your story. Put it out there. You have a story, and don't be afraid to share that,
Yeah.
So
I've been the person years ago when I was working in Los Angeles. Someone came up to me and said, hey, I've got this great weight loss program. I wouldn't explain that to anybody. He's lucky I didn't kill him.
That's
it's weird. It's not, it's not really appropriate.
Not appropriate. But
building the connection, so yeah, that's what I said to them is like, say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi. Because I don't know what else to say. But if you really wanted to step out on the edge, you may never see that person again. So I don't know. But I don't think our goal is to go out and offend anyone, right?
Right.
We are here to help them. We're here to offer hope. And I think that's the message that we want to send out there. And Karen, that was a good reminder that you're lucky that the person's lucky they didn't kill you. You didn't kill them. All right, guys. Well, have a fabulous rest of your Sunday, and have a great Memorial Day. So we do this, Michelle, we do this twice a month. And I try to make it like beginning and middle of the month, so like every 2 weeks. And, so about,
Thank you so much, Nora.
yeah.
Thank
It was
you.
great. Thanks for sharing from your weekend.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's a lot
Thank you.
to put into words, but I'm gonna have some videos that will, I think, help people too, that I'll post.
Listen, there's nothing like being at an event live. It's never, you're never able to convey what you got, but you did a good job.
Yeah, well, thank you. Okay.
And
guys.
it was nice to meet someone else who struggles with trying the foods too.
Oh, no. Nice to meet you too.
Okay, guys, have a great night.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Right.